Hello, everybody. Hey, Desert Guy. Hello, ni hao, Washim, Patrick, Astro. Cool. It looks like we've all been isekai Dark Knights. So I thought what better way than to road trip around the world together. So put on your seatbelt, enjoy these snacks I picked up at the last gas station. And we're going for a drive today. Oh, mega. So yeah, super exciting. If you'd like to check out the original video we're reacting to plus minuses tour guide to Arknights, it's linked in the description and also the pinned chat message. Go watch his videos. He's super silly. You can't reach the pedals. It's fine. I have a really big heel on my shoe. You're getting car sick already. Just hold on until we reach the next gas station, okay? Is this right? Yes, it is. That's Omega. Yeah, so let's dive into this, shall we? Perfect. But yes, this is Every Nation Explained. I think there are like 23 nations in Terra. Be sure to like and subscribe. And let's watch this video.
Hey fellow netizens, Plus here. So, you want to visit Terra, a world we have only experienced at the tip of our finger, a world where a kingdom of chivalry and knighthood could turn into a corporate dystopian, where god-conquering China and the demon power-wielding Soviet Union don't quite—
That's so true. If you're trying to explain Arknights to like a normal person, not that doctors aren't normal, but like, it sounds so all over the place, doesn't it? Tea, coffee. Can you react to things? If any of you have other suggestions, send your reaction ideas in Discord. There's a suggestions channel. That's the way it'll be. I'm just so good. Just don't get car sick. I've been practicing driving, even if it might not be legal for me to drive. And Terra.
Where angelic people were liberated through sweets and guns, where their ancient brethren are the most discriminated against amongst all races. Terra is probably one of the most complex and realistic fictional worlds I've ever consumed. And I choose the word consume not because I like it, it is because—
I just have to say, I love plus minuses Sprite, like the little glasses from the Arknights menu. And the blue kettle, it's so perfect. How are you able to reach the wheel? I have some help to reach the wheel, okay? It's fine.
Arknights is not just a game, it is a glorified visual novel with absurdly high production costs, along with a ton of adjacent media to enrich its own characters.
And there's so much story. Like, Arknights has this pause moment. Arknights literally has every genre. And if you like books, if you like anime and characters, like Arknights has something for you. Literally for anybody here.
Such as the character theme,
waifu
songs
pause.
that only exist outside of the
Not
game.
the waifu
The visual
pause.
posts, some are more cryptic than others, but all of them share the same trait. Visual posts.
Vigil spotted. It's just been 53 seconds in Vigil spotted. Reach max speed. Yeah, don't worry. I'm pushing down the throttle the whole time on the trip. Don't worry.
Some are more cryptic than others, but all of them share the same trait, that is the
Chula.
exploration of the world of Terra from a unique angle or different timeline. ARG, aka Alternate Reality Game, is also an adjacent element that exists in Arknights media, which has hidden pieces of lore. Even when—
Is that real? I know the ARG is real. Is this picture real of the doctor's little face? I'm sorry, this just looks so silly. If I read the top with snacks, yeah, I made sure you're wearing your seatbelt so I don't get sued, and your snacks are to tide you over until the next rest stop.
pieces of lore, even web event and manga that cover small
Hey, there's
and
so much
important
manga.
details can solidify the world building.
I still have to read the Virtuosa manga. I've heard it's really good. Isn't there? There's Virtuosa, and I think Angelina has one. I swear I don't look like that. Totally. Also, hey, Phora. Oh, what's your news? That's so exciting.
The world of Arknights has been evolving ever since the game was released back in 2019. Countless main and side stories have been added throughout the years. More than 1.6 million words make up the total of the readable media in
1.6
Arknights.
million?
Or in other words,
There's a million words of Arknights. No wonder Ian can't read. I have to read more. I've been going back and trying to read a bit more because I skipped some. 1.6 million words is crazy.
It would take an average person over 90 hours to read through all of it. You can also view the entire lore of Arknights as 4 times the entirety of the Lord of the Rings. But what actually makes a great world
How long
building?
is Lord of the Rings? I feel like I don't know how long books usually are. How many words are in a book usually? Kai is flying away. Yeah, Kai, don't worry. Don't sue me if you like get thrown out the window. If I make a sharp turn or something.
What actually makes us want to visit Terra, despite the fact that all of us know how hazardous, apocalyptic and dystopian Terra really is? Are we at zero sanity? A world doesn't just pop up.
Also, I just learned all of Terra is like one continent. I don't know why. I assumed it was like IRL and there was like Europe and Asia and it's all over the place. It's just one big spawn. Good job. How good for you. So exciting, Pyra. The first time I see your hands. Yeah, a hand reveal, I guess. Usually I'm wearing gloves, so that this is a hand reveal, technically.
Up out of nowhere, with all of its different nations. People don't just magically have specific traits for no particular reason. A nation doesn't wage war against one another just for the thrill of it.
This stage is traumatizing. This ending is so traumatizing.
Otherwise it would feel very unnatural. What makes the world building of Arknights so fascinating is how they have both otherworldly fantasy elements and realistic conflicts between people and nations at the same time, as if the game has stripped out one of the cruelest sections from our history books.
Look at this animation. I feel like I've seen most of these before, but literally, Arknights has such a wide variety of genres. Like, sometimes it's comedy, sometimes it's the darkest thing ever. Are you an Arknights fan? I'm kind of a new Arknights fan. I'm just a year in. Hey, your boy. 3 hours. Is counting words really needed? I mean, I guess if you like counting words, you can put it on your resume that you played a gacha game that has 1.6 million words. That might not be the best thing to put on a resume.
And put it into a fantasy world. It is probably the closest of world building to the likes of Game of Thrones, with all the different nations and their conflicts, how the history of some nations still haunts them in the present day, how some past events are connected with present international affairs, how certain nations used to be superpower but fell into obscurity, how there are world-ending threats but nobody gives a fuck about because everyone is busy dealing with their own shit. As you can see, the world building of Arknights is quite complicated and one can easily lose themselves in this giant labyrinth, which is why to make the visit to this godforsaken world more attractive, I've made this guide video to travel through every nation, to take a deep dive into each nation's unique history while admiring their sightseeings. Why? Because you clicked on this video, because you are curious.
Just because we were ISEKAI'D here. Good morning, John. Priestess has you down bad. I feel like Priestess has a lot of doctors down bad. Understandable. It's also interesting to see like where everything is. Bolivar and Columbia together. I never knew how close Minos was to like Sargon and everything. Yan collides with the seer and haven't seen Seaborn. Where's the Yan Seaborn? So true. Maybe there's a Sui sibling that's underwater in like the Yan Ocean. Also, hi Poco. We're watching a tour guide to Arknights, like all the countries. We have to expand the land. That's what Enfield is for. Totally. But yes, welcome back here, boy.
Because you want to visit Terra. Although before we go, there are 4 basic but very important things that you need to hear. The world of Arknights has a lot of similarities with our world. However, there are a few things which make Terra a lot more different, despite its similarities in culture and nations. The main energy source for almost every nation is a dark crystalline substance called originium. Originium is often found in nature, in the aftermath of big
This was like always the creepiest part of Arknights to me. is that it's like this rock that eats you, basically. A moment of lore nights. What about you? I remember you. Absolutely, you're seeing. We'll come back. Yeah, it's a lore nights today.
Catastrophes are growth on living beings. There are 3 places on Terra where the density of
Prime veins. 𝗔𝗟𝗟 Colossal. I didn't know about this before. Targangals. Weird.
originium is extremely high. These spots are called prime veins, and only a few nations can claim to be truly profiting from those. Why that is because originium is often found in a very active state. It is flammable, explosive, and can even grow over time if not contained correctly. This leads us to the second big factor on Terra, catastrophes. Just like in our world, catastrophe is nature's wrath in its purest form. Earthquakes, sandstorms, floods, blizzard, and meteor showers, to just name a few. In the world of Arknights, the word catastrophe is branded with a different kind of fear.
Yeah, I always wondered why there were so many kinds of catastrophes. Like, a catastrophe could be literally anything. It could be an earthquake or like a meteor or just random things. Terra, the worst place to live. Why would any of us choose to isekai to Terra, of all places? I don't know, some people are just down bad enough. I feel like I would go if it gave me the chance to meet Vigil and Lessing and 𝗔𝗟𝗟. I feel like it'd be worth it to go to Arknights, even if I don't last very long.
These are oftentimes way bigger and more destructive than the catastrophes in our world. Catastrophes on Terra can easily wipe out an entire city within a day, and
The only more or less decent places. Okay, the city of 𝗏𝗏, absolutely. Great place, but best place at
even
Arknights.
if you somehow survive it, you are likely not going to survive the aftermath of it. As I mentioned earlier, active
Classic
originium
apocalypse.
can be found right after a big catastrophe. Why is active originium bad? This leads us to the third point, getting infected. An incurable disease known as oropathy. If you get in contact with active originium, you are likely to get infected. Originium density will slowly become denser in your blood circulation. After a long time, solid crystals would grow inside your body and eventually even on your skin, causing great pain to the point of the inability to move or breathe.
So many Arknight characters have like crystals sticking out of them. It's the creepiest thing. I don't know why that scares me the most. Also, I look here. I'm a thrill seeker, so I choose to isekai. You'd bring your girl Typhon to you. Okay, the Typhon fans are another breed, for real. The Typhon doctors. It is, it's a fact that CC is canonically supposed to be what's fighting against those catastrophes. Is that what the contingency is? CC is just us versus a catastrophe? I never knew this.
Aside from all of these negative traits, infected people
Can't
don't
plot
need to
mention
use
it.
a magic medium to cast art. Oh right, arts is the magic system on Terra, also known as originium arts. In some nations it is akin to magic, while in others it is viewed as a scientific field. But on the grimmer side, infected people experience great prejudice. Some nations mistreat them worse than others. There are places where they send them to forced labor camps, while other states prohibit them from practicing specific work or entering certain areas.
Aww. Yeah, this is the part, like, if you're infected, you have these rocks that are like eating your body alive, and then all of a sudden, like, everyone hates you. It's literally the worst. So, who would ever want to come to Terra? Raises my hand.
The crystal on the host's body grows even after death. I wonder what we can do with those crystals. It sure would be a waste to throw them away. Anyway, you are definitely wondering how civilizations can even
Do we use... Okay, I know we use, like, the originium crystals for gacha pulls. That's our currency. Are we using dead bodies of people to pull for characters? Is that what the Arundum is? I don't know why I never thought about this.
survive in such a harsh environment.
No.
A world filled with
Are you
many
Star Blue?
catastrophes, incurable diseases.
If we are, that
and
changes
dangerous
everything.
but profitable resources. How do nations manage to survive, let alone prosper in this world?
𝗔𝗟𝗪
To the point to even have golden ages or become world-dominating superstate? Well, in the world of Arknights, it is a common practice to build cities on gigantic moving platforms.
If you're infected and live in Colombia, you have two options. Pay for health insurance or go to the Badlands. I wish we knew more about the Badlands. I feel like there are lots of people out in the middle of nowhere that we don't know about. I partly understand why the inhabitants made so many chaotic events. You don't even know if you'll live long enough to see a Phora video explaining about 23 nations. It's so true. You never know how long you'll make it, or if you'll get stabbed by, what would you, an originium spike or something. Now I'll think about throwing gotcha with the corpses of Terrans.
These are being dubbed nomadic city. These
If you could find Rhodes Island, I feel like you'd be pretty safe if you ISEKAI'D.
by relocating itself in time. This is only possible on Terra because of the tremendous amount of energy Originium can provide. Now that I have told you the basics of this world, we will be heading right into it. Our first stop is Ursus, aka
Ursus,
Actually,
you're sus. You're watching this video right now. You're probably sus. So many doctors are super sus, and if they don't seem sus, they're just hiding it. It's there.
means bear, since the majority of its population are Ursine. In the ancient times,
Yeah, bear
the nation
country,
was known as
bear
the
Russia.
Empire of Hippogriff. But the old Tsar was overthrown due to the elite's racist behaviors towards the lower class, which were primarily the Ursine people. After the coup, the nation was filled with pride and nationalism, which was the perfect combination for...
I love the photoshopped eyebrows. This one NPC is everything. So much aura farming. It took the Dungeon Meshi group 6 months to find roads. A single person. I wonder how long it would take you. It's just like luck of RNG to find Rhodes Island if you isekai'd. Unless you have like plot armor, you might be cooked. You might be really cooked up.
World domination. So, the newly proclaimed Ursus Empire started to expand westwards to gain more land and resources to fuel their continued expansionism, and while they were at it, they also oppressed small tribes and nations along the way. There was nothing the Ursus Empire hadn't fought against throughout their history of conquest. Mythical godlike beings, demons from the
little
north,
sprites.
and knights with guns.
They fought the Sami and the Sancta. I feel like I forget that they're connected to the Sami. It's like they're so far in the north. Military oppression, not even cooked, overburned. Yeah, you'd be beyond cooked if you showed up in Terra.
The only nation that proved to be a real obstacle was Casimir's, the land of the knights. Nonetheless, the Ursus Empire proved themselves to have the strongest military amongst all nations, by expanding so much that it has become the biggest nation on Terra, even to this day. They really loved to throw spears at their enemies, having the
Jessica!
tankiest defenders to stop anyone.
Not this Jessica violence, just inserted
They really
into the
loved
video.
to throw spears at
The Jessica one shot going to Sammy. It's like going to Sargon, but without Pepe's funny cat. It's like going to Sargon, except hallucinations and frostbite.
their enemies, having the
I would
tankiest
probably
defenders
still go
to stop
though.
anyone from making a dent into their positioning, while mortars can attack
Hey,
from
Nikki,
afar,
thanks
and
for the head
artillery
fat, so.
targeteers made sure that artillery
don't
hit
you-
every single one of
I was Jessica one shot, but Midnight's fine. This is Jessica slander. Also Midnight
their
mentioned.
targets until they died, a very miserable death. The army of Ursus spread fear all across Terra quite equally, by not only killing foes, but also their own civilians. The testimony
Is that
of
true?
Phora during
I never realized that like the civilians that we're protecting are literally their civilians. I'd go to Sammy just for Typhon. That's so real of you. How long do you think you would last, LP? How was your day? So good, Nikki. How about you?
Ursus' strength,
I feel like if I went to Sammy, I would last like 30 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes. And I'd either leave or freeze.
heyday goes like this. 5 groups of shieldmen can slaughter a squad of knights, 4 royal guards can wipe a settlement off the map, 3 Wendigos can conquer a small town, 2
3?
army
Isn't Patriot the last one? I feel like I can't even imagine more than one. It's too much. It's too much to think about. Hi, Zane. Guess what? What? Civilians are civilians. Although you help them, but they'll surely die somewhere else. So that's rough. That's rough. Not even a day. How's the short plant doing? I'm not that short, Archie. And what do you mean plant? But super good, super good.
Can decimate
We've just isekai'd on a road trip through Arknights.
Throw the world into chaos. And this is excluding their most feared soldiers, the Emperor's blade. They are literally the blade of the Tsar and would execute His Majesty's will at any given time.
Isn't this? I always thought these were from Vienna. Are the Emperor's blades from Ursus? I just never knew this. Also, hi Lunar and Whirled. Moshi. Oh, thanks for the new PC. Congrats. It's all because of all of you. Patriot's the only one of his tribe. He had a son and a wife who were killed. I know that Patriot had like a family, and there was a tragic backstory. Oh yes, the farter. Hey, Gulf. Yeah, this farters are rough. Getting polls ready for stream. Oh, nice. Yeah, have Annie super soon.
These fellows covered in mask use a demon power in combination with their
Got Melantha here.
In combat.
The Melantha slander. Somewhere 𝗏𝙬𝙪, if he saw this video, 𝗏𝙬𝙪 rolled over. Maybe not in his grave, but like in his bed or something.
And are mostly feared for their
Flinch and
dark farts.
steal.
If you see one, they might start a conversation like this. Take my advice, kill yourself. But with great power comes great responsibility, and
Yeah, if I had to face these dark farts, if I had to face these farts, I would leave. I would like despawn or something. Activate plant the skill. Exactly.
that wasn't Earth's strength. They usually put the people from newly conquered nations into their gulags.
Ender Pearl.
Their own citizens
Hey,
aren't
Billy
treated any
Bob.
better because most of their resources go into its military effort. The Ursa's population lived in a poor condition. And just like in the old days, the Ursas revolted, again, this time putting an end to the brutal military regime. All of this happened because none of the elites really learned anything from history. I mean, why learn from history when you can just repeat it?
Totally, just recycle everything. That was an actual line in the game. That's crazy. X'd out LP. I too. Also, happy birthday to your older brother Desert. They love crushing loaf. Yeah, the Ursas, these are the Ursas villagers. They love crushing loaf. This is an Arknights lore video about all the countries. After the start of the game, we haven't seen again what happened with Ursus. Right? It's been forever. I feel like we've seen like a little bit through, what was it? Like through the 𝗏𝙬𝙪 story, the most recent one with, what's her name? Leto. Because their dad was like is she Ursus or is she from 𝗏𝙬𝙪? Release. What do you mean you doubt me? I don't doubt you. It's just hard to believe that it's in the game. I hope we get to see more Ursus in the future.
Big changes. Now all Ursine are equal, but some Ursine are more equal than others. Ursus has turned from an expansionist nation into a more open and conservative one. Its new ruling class are a new generation of intellectuals.
Oh, she is Ursus. She studied at the same school as the other students. I see. They're saving them for something. They can't forget about something that important, right, Mario? I have a feeling you're right. Like, there's still Tallulah, whose arc hasn't been finished, and also, like, Ursus. I feel like those two will be connected. Whenever Tallulah comes back, Ursus will come back, and vice versa. That's my guess.
Who seek to modernize the nation. This does sound pretty good, right? So, what do you think the Ursus of today would look like? Well, it still inherits a strong nationalism.
Higashi in shambles. Higashi hasn't even been mentioned, like, it's been mentioned, but we haven't really been there once. And we've been to other countries, like, so many times. Streaming pools here in the server. I think I'll do some research on how I can do viewer polls for Nikkei and send something. Hey, Avatar. It's been months, but I wondered how you're doing. I hope you've been super well. Welcome back.
Ever since the
Tell was in her cell being a hikikomori.
Basically, an infected group called
That's fair.
Reunion rallied
That's fair.
together to riot, took over the entire nomadic city of Chernobyl and drove towards Lungmen. When I heard the news, this was my honest nuclear reaction. Oddly enough, even after the city was lost, it was still sending out a strong signal that it belonged to the Ursus Empire. Huh, sounds like a skill issue to me. I thought it was simply a
Skill issue is crazy. And Monhun collab. And he went to Higashi and Monster Hunter. How did I not know this? I started Arknights after the Monhun collab. Looks like we have a new game. Hi, Layla. If you don't bulls, I'll just send DMs. Okay, I see. I'll do some research and send a message.
function when Reunion took it over.
How did I miss the Higashi collab?
Let's move on to our next star, the Great Yen.
Speaking of Rihanna, Yen is just so iconic. It's Attack on Titan walls. Skill issue for starting late. Yeah, I wish I started gacha before. So much sooner. Higashi forgot that country exists. They mentioned it so little. Okay, Higashi at least appeared in the Monster Hunter collab. Minos. I'm not even sure Minos exists at this point. Like, it's on the map, but that's it.
Ying, welcome to the Great Yen, one of the oldest nations on Terra. It is an imperial monarchy ruled by an emperor, and there are 6 ministries. As one of the oldest nations, Yen has preserved all of its traditional culture from its prehistoric dynasties and is now on their way to fully embrace modernization. Their gigantic agricultural nomadic city, 𝗏𝙤𝙪, which is able to feed almost the entire population of Yen on its back, and their international financial powerhouse.
Yen is just so pretty. Like, there's so much variety. I feel like since we get a guaranteed Sui sibling every year, Yen has some of the most development. The only thing I can say about Minos is that it exists, exactly. And I'm at this point, I'm doubting that it even exists. There's one chatter who's in Discord sometimes, and they mentioned that, like, I think the last Minos lore was in an IS trinket. Of course, the country that represents the Chinese is super powerful. Absolutely. It's nice to see a lot of, like, their culture too. It's so much variety.
Lungmen are just a few shining examples of Yen's way to progress and prosper. In fact, Yen has been known as one of the most stable nations on Terra, since it never really got involved in any warfare with other nations throughout its entire history. Yen would also send out envoys to neighboring nations to settle war-related matters, of course with the attempt to achieve its own political agenda. Aside from the stable and peaceful land, Yen is also known for its unwavering economic monopoly in the world of Terra, the Lungmen
dollars. This is either a traumatic picture or, like, a great picture. I'm always broke in Arknights between side stories. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. As they say at Peppa event, Minos suffered colonization. But it must be a tiny thing, really. Go all in on Siren. I'll send a message about Nikkei viewer polls and have, like, a sign-up sheet if we do that.
A currency that is very widely accepted amongst all around Terra simply because of its stability. It is so widely used that it is being viewed as Terra's main currency. But
some Mr. Lee mentioned
before the dawn of the Common Era, Yen was ruled by merciless gods, also known as Pharaohs. Always in awe and terror, these Pharaohs reigned over the people of Yen with their miracle-creating powers.
Just take the surrendum. No problem, sounds good, perfect. I need 500, why do I need 500 million LMD to upgrade an operator? Hey, is it so bad that I want to, like, max level a 6-star and bankrupt myself? It's because you wasted it all on Vigil. I level 90 Rhea and Typhon and Zarya. I'll ignore my other 6 stars. I was wondering what your favorite character from Arknights is. Probably. Okay, the easy answer is Vigil, but lately I'm interested in Palace. Because we look so similar.
That just
curious
took over
about
the laws
ballets.
of nature effortlessly, but the Emperor had a dream. He wanted the humans to govern for themselves. One day, Chinese scholars found bones of ancient Pharaoh corpses. Were these dead pharaohs similar to their rulers? Did they had any connections with them? Nonetheless,
Here's Vigil. I only know the storm that is approaching. Here's the Vigil is crazy. Vigil is peak. He's the most boy fail peak character ever. That's why Sylvana. I don't level any of them up to level 90 because it's so expensive. That's fair. That's fair. What about Ines? So I have this process in Arknights. I usually, because I've seen people in like account reviews have max level characters without their module. So I wait until I have a character's module to max level. I think there's one that I accidentally leveled. That's why Ines is stuck at 69. A Virgil moment. Hey, Iron Lily. I'm still baffled on why they gave Vigil a country song and it's his theme song. Right? Like, it's so weird. Like, it's not a bad song. It's just interesting. Maybe it's because he's, like, paving his own path or something. It's like, different from what expectations are.
one thing was clear to the current Emperor. Their masters were not so immortal after all. So, he decided to plot an assassination against his own deities. This act was then dubbed as the Great Hunt by Terra historians of the modern era.
Great
They
Hunt.
used ancient
I didn't know about this, like, at all. The module's better. They increase more stats up. I know it's a good song, but still. Yeah, it's interesting choice. Interesting choice. You played Arknights and you got the tiger dude. So lucky. I wish I had Mountain. I think that's who you're talking about.
rituals as an excuse to gather all the heavenly beings to one spot, to kill them all at once. To do so, the Emperor secretly gathered the biggest army around the deities, and they started the slaughter by killing the weakest first. The slaughter turned into a full-scale war between man and god, and it looked really bad for Yen, but in the midst of it all, one of the Pharaohs, Sui, the one closest to humans, decided to fight against his brethren. This was the turning point of the war, but in actuality, Sui's
They joined the humans. Yeah, Mountain. I'm so good. How are you, Iron Lily? Now, if you want to do both, you have plenty of resources. It's so real. Hi, Tyler. Yeah, the thing with Arknights is it's really hard to get resources as a new player. You have to have like some built units before you can grind. So we lived on their own island.
true intentions
Really?
was very selfish. He wanted to rule over Yen alone by helping the Emperor to slay every single one of his brethren until none was left, and while the Yenese army was exhausted from all the fighting, he would take the chance and strike when they were at their weakest. However, the Emperor was aware of the plan and prepared countermeasures beforehand. Basically, the Great Hunt was a backstabbing contest to see who can backstab the most.
Yeah, best backstabbers of Terra 2025 edition. Amaya becomes yandere for the doctor. I feel like there'd be lots of issues if that happened. That'd be its whole. There's so many issues. I have a Chinese account. You abandon it, and it's rough to start from zero. The CN servers have so many great updates. If you go back to it, there's so much quality of life that we'll get eventually. They should have sent the Knight of Hollow Knight to fight the gods. Hey, Aruba. Game Theory before GTA 6 and Nintendo Switch 2 before GTA 6. Yeah, Arknights Isekai before GTA 6.
I bet even Sui forgot on whose side he was fighting anymore, and ever since that day, Yin was known as the nation that slayed gods.
What a
Sui was
title.
not completely defeated though. He was split into 12 fragments, 12 weaker Pharaohs, so to say. Each of them have their own ideals, their own personality, and their own unique autism.
Their own unique autism. That makes sense. They all have their specialties, you know. Also, Avatar, if you are looking for an old video, I have unlisted a few because of scuff, but if you liked the video, then you can still go see it. Bean.
Yin, a spice-loving extrovert who can create anything from weapons to entire nomadic cities out of thin air. She also makes shitty movies and likes to be around places where big things happen. Dusk, probably the best shot in life you can wish for, because she is so socially awkward.
My self-talking skill, we're insulting each other. They're special in their own way. Exactly. Also, hi, Ramir. But why is Scuff is peak? Some Scuff is like unwatchable. Like no 0 frame Scuff. And Vampire looks like a new anime before GTA 6. And not the clowning on Neon's movies.
Quote, that she only interacts with her painting, quite literally. She has made a world through her painting. Once you enter this world, it really makes you wonder who is real. There are only 2 kinds of introvert, the oh no people guy and the ew people guy. It belongs to the later specimen.
Oh no people or ew people. I feel like I'm kind of both sometimes. You know, it varies. You got a copy of Pokemon Scarlet? And Nintendo pulls Mr. Krabs. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck.
In Twilight's embrace, Ling takes her place. She is the most mature one
So
compared to the other
Ling.
2 sisters, a strategist with wisdom and grace. With pen in hand, she crafts her
This
drawing.
animation is
A
so
poet
prettier.
who bends both space and time. Her goblet filled, she drinks with ease.
Yeah, or soloist. This is all you need. If you're new to Arknights, this is the only operator you need, according to like so many doctors. Are we holding a steering wheel because of Arknights World? Yeah, this is our road trip through Terra. So I'm driving, and this is our tour guide. Yeah. You are Steve. Dusk with super lore gameplay. Dusk's gameplay is something else for sure. Also, I think the Skibbity stream was copyrighted.
Yet
The
her
roast
mind
on the
remains
Sui
sharp,
siblings.
like a breeze. Drunk or sober,
I think they deserve
none can
roasts
tell,
every now and
for
then.
in her dreams, she casts a spell. Reality raps at her command, in a world where dragons stand. Enemies falter, lost in her sway, as Ling leads the drunk dance.
Yeah, the big
night and
summons.
day, forever poised, forever keen.
I just realized the trinket that like makes summons really good in IS stages. That plus Ling must be crazy. Also, hi Twilight. Unfortunately, you can't be isekai'd. Troutcoon would drive right over you. I'm tall enough to be isekai'd, okay? This shouldn't even be a conversation. I think otherwise, that implies you have feet to step on the pedal. I can reach the pedal. Even if it's with extensions. I can do. Sinazaya releasing before GTA 6. For you, almost all his sisters are drunk, angry, or crazy. I mean, that's such a mood. Like, but what's the word? Like Sui, or something. All you need is Typhon, so real.
She's always being chilling. Chongyue,
Yes,
he is
big
the
chilling.
world's strongest kung fu fighter. Through his immortal life, he
Chongyue.
has mastered all the fighting styles. People know him primarily for doing nothing.
What is this animation? And where can I find this? Also, hi Luigi. And K-Gamer. Yes, you've arrived. You can make rice fields taller than the doctor. How tall is like rice? I feel like I've seen rice grow before. Chongyu looks kind of different.
Nothing but working
Yeah,
out and
Chongyu
training.
looks.
Dude is literally living his artisan to its fullest.
Is this an actual like workout video for Arknights? Which character? Case Mary Pies. That could be really fun. I want to do like that's like a ranking Arknights characters in that way video. How do you spell Chongyu? I can't. Chongyu, it's not that hard. You're really close. I think I know how to spell it. Yeah, Chong is
We
animation.
have turned all of his techniques into consumables of pasta.
Also his voice
Welcome
lines.
to the rice field, motherfucker, for we will be harvesting these crops. Here
That's
is where
right.
people sow. She is the flattest mother figure, but definitely not the least fertile. She is the sole reason why Yen is able to feed its growing population.
That's right. It's time to get farming, everybody. Help in the fields. Kiss Mary Pies and Nikkei. I should do a Nikkei and an Arknights. Kiss Mary Pies. Also, hey Amber, what'd you just come across? That's an official video. Someone send me the link to that official video. Drop it in Discord. The link's in the description. Just send it there. I have to see this Changyu video for myself. The best medic defender. You made so much money off your plot of Farmville.
Let's finally take a look at Yen in our current day and age. Thanks to Yen's geographical location, it is far away from the Terran heartland, which means it never gets involved in any bloody conflict between the many nations there. Throughout the centuries, it had its consistent population growth and resources to prosper.
She was fine making enemies loop. You were never here. No worries, Amber. Some of this is pretty cursed. Also, hi, Vinny. At this point, I think there are 2 siblings left. If you don't count the sister, really. Are there just 2 other Suis alive? I guess this video came out before you came. Yeah, this video, I think, was before you.
Which is why it has become
I don't know if it has CN spoilers either.
Superpower on Terra by simply minding its own business. In addition, some of the 12 fragments of Sui are helping the Yen Empire to prosper. Yen can build the empire whatever they need. Whether it is new nomadic cities for the growing population, or walls ranging through an entire nation border to defend threats from the north, to Yen it is all a very trivial task. Shu, on the other hand, is the one making sure that the agriculture flourishes every year, so that the growing population is getting fed.
It's crazy how much of an impact just these few people have. I know they're gods, kind of, but still, there's a Sui that appears, but isn't playable. Jula gains 200% of your pure wrath 4 times. The Jula appearances on the banner. That's rough. I did lose my 50-50 for Shu and got Jula. Did I get him 2 times? I think I just have 1. If I do have a steering wheel, I'm driving Luigi. We're on a road trip through Arknights world. All the countries. Gotta catch them all real.
𝗔𝗟𝗟 has been training the Yenese soldiers for as long as he has gained consciousness and defended threats from the north. What that threat exactly is will be covered in part 2. Ling. What did she actually contribute to Yen? She was a great strategist who also defended Yen from northern threats, that's for sure. But she mostly did philosophical thinking and sophisticated drinking. After all,
that's right, sophisticated drinking. You're the fun driver. You can feed the entire population of Terra with how many copies of Grain Buds you got from Shoe Banner. At least Grain Buds has a really nice new skin, or a reset skin drop. Canonically, these characters are very important for life in Yang until the doctor arrives and takes them around Terra. Yeah, we really just kidnapped all the Sui siblings to do our own random stages. Drunk guides, what could go wrong? Confucianism. Yeah, so confusing.
Philosophy is best viewed through a
Ling's a drunk who lives off her siblings.
And thus is a competitive hikikomori, nothing more, nothing less. All in all, Yen has managed to turn a few of the 12 fragments.
Yes, we love hikikomori energy. I wonder if Ling would drink and drive. Okay, legally, I have to say, don't drink and drive. YouTube, don't sue me, please. Did you eat anything? Oh, I'll get a snack after stream, don't worry. Enjoy your sushi.
On their side, and is using them as multiple cheat codes in their Civilization 6 session.
Civilization.
But not every fragment is working so
that's another game I've been meaning to try.
Under the Yen government, there are a few other fragments lurking in the shadows, working against the current regime. Every year, one of them would come out and play a game of Weiqi against the Emperor, and if he wins, he gets to go—
Is this the other Sui sibling? I didn't read the Sui events. I have to go read them. Also, hi, Iron. I'm so good, how are you? Jess might have shared her art, unintentionally or not. Yeah, her art kind of just shared itself. Ling invented drinking and driving is crazy. Yeah, that's Ling's contribution to society.
Into the land and spread chaos. Honestly, if it were by me, I'd just have flipped the table. Their endgame is to bring all 12 fragments together, so they can revive the Sui once more. This is extremely concerning, because if Sui gets revived, it is likely going to turn Yen upside down and might even become a world-ending threat. It is what I'm worried about. It's definitely not because we would lose all 12 waifus and husbandos if Sui is completed.
Yeah, definitely not because of that. Have there ever been playable characters that died in Arknights? I feel like I can't think of any. Like, it's always like NPCs who have permanent deaths. Drinking plus driving equals crash. Real. Because Nian makes movies. Dusk paints use a cook, she grows. Chongyua is the martial artist. Ling is just a drunk. Ling is philosophical and strategic. Or something. You don't want to lose Sue. Yeah, me
Why
neither.
would I even think that? Anyway, if we are traveling through the Great Yen, then there's one place we simply cannot miss out on, and that is Lungmen, the economic powerhouse of Yen. It is a gigantic nomadic city that has special financial perks, which benefits Yen's total economical growth. It's modernized.
Ling's thing is poetry. But poetry is very, very nice. Also, hi, Andika. You're so right. You should keep some notes on lore. I'll do my best. Merging the siblings is Alabama levels of fusion. I think it'd be interesting. I wonder if they would merge, like, imagine if it's like a game mechanic. It's so pay to win, but it's like Ling. If you deploy Stewie siblings next to each other, it's like Ling summons. They just merge together into something. I don't think they'd ever do that. Ling seems like a nice big sister, though. I think so, too. Ling seems like a nice sibling to have.
Super metropolis is anything but traditional. You can find the most hip clothing brands
All the outfits,
Terra, from giant districts of world-renowned companies such as Raytheon, Rhinelab, and Mama John's.
I'm sorry, is Mama John's real? Is Mama John's actually in the game? Because that's crazy. She was like that philosophical share. Just to get philosophical. Did your car let you travel on Terra? Yes, this car is kind of like a roving city, or whatever they're called. Yeah, it's like a caravan city. Shu's second talent works with 4 Sui siblings, though. Just stop pausing. For reaction streams, I'm so sorry. I paused a bit.
To totally trustworthy detective agency, there's
Please, animation.
A city where you can
Please,
witness an
detectives.
epic rap battle between a rat and
April Fools. Okay, the rat versus penguin beef is incredible. We love this. Mama John's is in the manga, much less the game. I have to find the Mama John's manga mention. Next to we get Samsung, Colombia. Yeah, Colombia, it's like the US and Canada. And they're parody brands, although KFC is canon. Yeah, KFC is canon, at least in the CN version of the game. Mama John's brand appears in Dociley's trailer. Really? What's the difference between a haiku and a poem? Isn't a haiku a kind of poem? I'm not an expert. Terra has IRL references. Like Daft Punk. I guess I knew there were some IRL like mentions or references. I didn't know about all of these though. Interesting.
A penguin.
Oh, and yeah, there are so many mangas for Arknights.
In a Yanni's restaurant, enjoying a hot xiaolongbao. Lungmen is one of the places where diversity flourishes. Oh, and when we are talking about diversity, they are just not so keen with the infected. But hey, I mean, they would simply ruin the business and prestigious image of the city. So it is totally understandable. If you wonder where all the infected went, well, honestly, you are asking the wrong person. But if I take a guess, they are probably living somewhere at the outskirts of the city, places where people wouldn't see them. Conveniently, nobody would notice a thing if they die by the hundreds.
Yeah, totally. Just don't get infected and you'll be fine. That's really rough. Mama John's is real. We fight herself as the boss in SSS. I have to play SSS because what do you mean we fight Mama John's? Yeah, I wonder where all the infected
anyway,
and yeah,
with
no.
the minor inconveniences of using Originium, let's look at the bright side, and with that I mean let's look at a different nation handling it. If it appears like a company, acts like a company,
Rimbilliton.
and smells like a company, then it is a company. Rimbilliton is a
Rimbilliton.
corporatocracy primarily known for its booming originium mining industry. Its nature mostly consists of outbacks.
I forgot that the merchant from Reclamation Algorithm was a bunny. That's not Mama John. Oh, one of her daughters. The political hiding the problems away method. Yeah, classic. Classic. We just have to buckle up the sparkling soda. Those are snacks for chat, okay? That's for you.
And deserts with its primary population of cultists. The
Yeah,
birth of
bunny land.
Rimbilliton was thanks to the age of colonization. Back in the days, the area was discovered to be close to one of the three prime vein, which consists of rich originium sources. Every powerful nation sends their best expedition teams and mining companies in an attempt to claim the land for themselves. In the midst of the originium rush, the political situation between the superpowers in the Terran heartland began to brickle, which made them shift their focus back on their homeland. The expeditioners and companies were all left to govern for themselves. What looked like a grim reality was actually a blessing in disguise, because at that time,
I forgot there were traffic cones on their heads sometimes. This sprite will never not surprise me. That place is one of the worst areas to appear. Most of them are rabbits there, and they live very little. Are their lifespans really short? I didn't know about this. That just makes like an infected 𝙏𝙤𝙪 story even more tragic. It's like any other game when someone gets infected by something. If I had a nickel for every gacha game where there were infected people, or like the government hates you because of literally just who you are, I'd have so many. Yeah, 𝙏𝙤𝙪s, cactus, Benui. They have lots of kids anyway. This is equal to Aussie. So yeah, that's harsh. That's rough. Also,
they
thank you.
bonded together, formed a
Thank you.
nation by declaring their sovereignty to all other countries.
Source
Of course, none of the
Ansel's
superpowers
operator
in the
file.
Terran heartland would accept that without attempting to overthrow the Billetonian government for a takeover.
I have to read
But
Ansel's
because
file.
they were too busy
This isn't freaky. It's more OSHA-related deaths and originium exposure, and without proper equipment. So it's not like their lifespan is tiny, like by itself. It's just the circumstances. I see. Amiya's parents are from there, and she was also born there. I wonder if like bunnies were a thing when Victoria like explored Rimbilliton for the first time, or did bunnies just kind of happen?
with their own war games at that time, they could only send small forces to harass Billetonians. The superpowers met aggressive reactions and were repelled time and time again, until they finally learned their lesson and backed away. Well,
Yeah, just stay away from the traffic cone people. You know better than this. Luigi, that's a skill issue. You can drink that sparkling water if you try hard enough.
For Victoria,
Totally.
they are still trying to take control over the mining industry of Rimbilliton and insert their sovereignty, and Billetonians were like, nice opinion, one small issue, I am Bunny.
I am
British
Bunny.
civilians, they are too full of themselves, even now. Don't worry, we will get into that too. Rimbilliton is still a self-governing corporatocracy, just less racist and more corporate. It has quadrupled its mining operations, however, with more originium mining comes more origin.
Yeah, this is Minecraft. First we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft. Bunny rights. Yes, we support bunny rights and bunny wrongs here. Australia and British relations summarized. Is it this way IRL? I know that like the UK kind of colonized Arknights, Australia. I don't know a lot of Australia history. Who's eating it? That's some trail mix. Okay.
Risks.
You can say it's a
large
mining
portion
town.
of Rimbilliton's population are in fact infected. But worry not, because Rimbilliton doesn't treat the infected as bad as Ursus, since they are aware that working in originium mines would easily result in getting neuropathy, so they don't discriminate against the infected. Not from an ethical perspective at least, but from a corporate perspective.
Where's the Sour Forest gummy bears? I'll bring them next time. Next time we stop at a gas station, we can get some. Australia was a prison colony. It was a former prison island. It was so far away they just declared independence. That's so funny. Also, wait, Dax. Also, history is weird in general. Arknights can't make it much stranger. Wasn't there like a part of the US that was also a prison colony? Like Georgia or something? I feel like I learned about this. Hey, Crusader. The bunnies yearn for the mines. Yes, they do. That's not a sentence I thought I'd ever hear. Victoria colonized several areas of Terra. Where else did Victoria colonize? Is Colombia also part of Victoria's like original empire? Hippogriff is based for keeping Gaul extinct. Yeah, rip the French, except Phantom and Shalom. You can't keep up with the lore since your mind is overloaded. Understandable. Understandable.
They are discarded if they can no longer provide value to the mining companies. Usually the infected would still get.
Why did I think that was Truckhood coming?
If they can no longer provide value to the mining companies.
That was my first thought, that this character was like getting isekai'd because there was like they lost their job or something. That's really dark.
Usually the infected would still get a big paycheck that can last them for a few months. Good luck finding a new job as an infected, I would say.
It looks like the zombies from Plants vs. Zombies Conehead. It really does look like the PVC Conehead, doesn't it? Original Colombia is a colony of Victoria. I never knew this. Really? Victoria colonized Colombia and then became independent. Iberia also colonized Bolivar. So it's like Spain and Mexico and the UK and like North America, or the rest of North America.
Going to be a place that is known for its sportsmanship, home to chivalry and entertainment, a place that is near light. Welcome to Casimir.
That's near light.
We talked about Casimirs before. They were one of the only obstacles for Ursus' conquest. So, let's get to know the real deal. Casimirs is basically Poland, if being a horse knight wielding arts makes you...
Yes, knights from Poland. Horse knights from Poland who can dodge things.
OP, a nation inhabited mostly by horse people, aka Kurantas. They occupied the vast grassland in the...
Yes, uncle. This might be my favorite picture of Linar. He looks so pretty in this. Poland, the shining horses.
The Terran heartland, and is governed by a confederation of knight groups. The classical way to...
Never mind. I take it back. I take it back. What is this picture? What is this image of Linar? This will give me nightmares. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Distribute power fairly.
Every field there must be a Linar with a smile.
You could say it is a bit closer to democracy. Other nations like to refer to Casimirs as the land of the knights and just. Ever since the beginning of Casimir's history, it has...
Bro looks like Garfield is crazy. Hans.
It's been a place where the strong protected the weak, a place where chivalry and justice blossomed. But this nation did come with its own challenges. In its whole history, Casimirs has faced countless brutal invasions from...
This image started with the Reinhardt from FEH. I have to look up the original meme. Ariel Poland buying every military equipment they could get. Really? Casimirs? Are they all Kuranta? Pure horses? It seems like a lot of them are. Are there any like non-Kuranta Casimirs we know about?
Foreign powers, and it always questioned their ideology.
Linar's smile.
Centuries ago, it
I have
was
to add
the
that
Hippogriff
emote to Discord.
that never ended their harassment. These were actually quite easily repelled, and they eventually stopped trying to harass at Casimirian borders. And then came the Naimoran Khaganate, aka the Terran Genghis Khan. They beat the Hippogriff Empire to submission first, and were after Casimirs as a side dish. Hence, while the Hippogriff Empire stopped the harassment, it wasn't because they didn't want to. It was because the great Khagan annihilated them. Khagan had a vision. He wanted to conquer the world.
I don't remember who Khagan is. Flametail and Ashlock are squirrels. Oh, that's right. And Fartooth is Liberia. How could I forget about the squirrels? The Polish squirrels. I suppose there are other races. Oh, but they're foreigners. I guess there's like a bit of variety, but mostly horses. Thinking this zombies raptures, you're going down.
Now, how do I explain this so that modern people like you would get it?
Oh, he's from the third IS4 ending.
Coming of age tradition for all night.
Is this it's this one? This is Kagan. I have to play all the IS4 endings. The red boss from IS4. Oh, from ending 4. Is that the one from, like, the two... there's, like, a battle happening, and there are these two bosses that you have to both fight. A country with the greatest variety of races. And one place is Colombia. I had to think about that for a sec. I feel like most of the Colombians are like all different
tribes to go into uncharted
the current
places
Khagan.
and bring back
IS4 is his
tales to tell
ancestor?
for their tribesmen. The Great Khagan simply took it to an extreme level.
Wait, so where is the Khagan from? Is Khagan from Casimir's? I feel like I missed
He
that.
wanted to conquer everything.
This one's a direct descendant, I see
Khagan
you.
and his Nightmoran horde effortlessly beat the Casimirian Knight army into submission. The governing knighthood, the Pitters,
From Khagan land. So true. Is this just Arknights summarized? It's basically like all the Arknights countries just summarized. We're on a road trip. Khagan's a title, like Emperor or War Chief. I see. But from Sargon. How close is Sargon to Casimir?
years before the Great Khan and arranged a peace negotiation. This was one of the most humiliating chapter in Casimir's history. Majority of its population grew extremely
The eyebrows on the NPCs. I need to start editing these eyebrows onto things just for fun, just to see what like characters would look like. Are the Khagan extinct? Khagan is from Sargon, but Mongol inspired. From Sargon, they fought against Peppa's ancestors. That's like saying your name is King, son of King, from the kingdom of King, the land of King. Aren't there some cities that are like, I feel like Queensberry is like a city or something. There's like Kingsburg or something. There's somewhere, maybe.
dissatisfied with the ruling
The
Pegasus
Mongols.
and eventually united under the goal to remove them from their
Are these the
positions
Knights
of
Mora?
influence. The revolt started when the Nightmoran campaign came to an abrupt end.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Sargon's at the southwest of Terra. They reach Ursus, the northeast. Do you think they just go around in a circle? Wait, but there's an ocean. How did they go all the way up there? It's Phora is the subrace name. You played IS4 a lot. I thought you'd know the boss. I've grinded IS4 for the rewards. But I still need some like meta characters to clear some endings. Oh, it's a Call of Duty song, really? I'll have to write this down to listen to Avatar. You have to see more of the map of Terra. Sargon's to the south.
And with the sudden death
Isn't Sargon? It's like South America, but like also Africa, and also the Middle East, and also apparently Mongolia, like all ripped together. Sarkis is a beast.
of the Kagan in the far south, all went successful.
They
and
fought
the new
against
political
Collapsos.
system demanded the Knight to split their power and influence in a different way. They kept their political power, but
A fake IS fan. I'm an IS grinder. Okay, I'll clear the endings once I have a better team. I promise. I promise.
they had to turn a large portion of their wealth over to retinues. These people are referred to as merchants. They were given the task to manage the wealth. This went wrong in so many ways. The nation lived through a peaceful era in which the merchants grew more influential by the year, and
Oh, Sargon's were like North Africa. South America's like Bolivar. Really? So is Bolivar like just Mexico or like other? Maybe it's lots of influences combined.
by the time the nation formed a democratic system, the merchants had become such a
Not the stonks. I know like nothing about like IRL stocks. I just hear people talk about it sometimes. Yes.
powerful
Yes.
entity that they were able
Capitalism.
to control the economy of the nation.
Yes, the Arknights has invented capitalism.
Merchants were always seen as lower-class citizens in the eyes of the knights, but now that the merchants have banded together to become one powerful and wealthy entity, they can no longer be ignored.
Not the Roblox face. Anything with the Roblox face. According to Lele, Bolivar is Brazil, Venezuela, and Mexico. Really? What does IS mean? It's a game mode in Arknights and integrated strategies. It's time for 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪. Yes, Aiden. Yes, stonks be investigating gambling. Okay, if people like ban gambling but don't ban stocks, like aren't they the same thing? What's the difference? It's just IRL gotcha, honestly.
By the governing knight groups. The power struggle between the corporate faction and the governing knights was very polarized. The knights were in full control of the military, while the merchants had control over the economy of the nation. But one small factor broke the status quo. It was a calm Saturday afternoon. A hairless knight noble was holding an
It was a Saturday afternoon.
auction. In hopes to sell his castle on a nomadic platform to the highest bidder, he invited his other noble friends. One after another, everyone placed their bet. But to everyone's surprise, it was not a nobleman that would offer the highest bid. It was his own retinue.
It was a
This was very
merchant.
inspiring to the merchants. Why don't we just buy off the knights' land and military? They can't outbid us all. The knights had to renegotiate with the now powerful merchants and formed a new governing entity, the 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪 General Chamber of Commerce.
Is Minar one of the merchants? His outfit reminds me so much of their like suit and tie. Stonks is kind of like keeping money at a company. For them to grow. You investing the whole RA landship to win in Cannon's gambling. Yes, I sell the house. I sell Rhodes Island for Cannon's gambling. Absolutely. That's all you need. And it's for a good cause, to win big. People don't allow gambling, but not gotchas with waifus and husbandos that are cute. Hypocrisy. I hope they never ban gotcha games. They're like my lifeblood at this point. A salary man. He has such Nanami vibes from JJK. Minor used to be a knight and then retired to a flourishing career as a bum. Overworked employee. He does have that energy.
In short, KGCC.
Rip,
This
Minar.
was a sad day for the knights, but a good day for the merchants.
Yeah,
and
literally
a good
not
day
a
for
bee.
people like us, who love to spend money and consume. Everything has to be centered around making money.
This image is taking me out. Meme, let's go gambling. Yeah, literally Minor.
The first nation that
Literally.
is taking capitalism as their motto was born. Money ruled the nation. The knights only had one option: become a gear of the gigantic corporate machine. With this big change came the biggest shift in culture of 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪. The nation has slowly but gradually abandoned their tradition. It is all about stonks and profit. War with a neighboring nation can solidify its own economic growth if it means sacrificing a large portion of its own knights.
Someone should edit this picture with a roll-in from Library of Runa, please. Power of capitalism, top blonde salary man uncle. I feel like that genre it just works. Blonde salary man. Skip some LMD that was in the background. I think I have to move to 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪 to get some of this LMD so I'm not broke, upgrading my operators. Corruption of capitalism too. It's interesting that Arknights shows like it's so gray. Like there are so many countries and factions that do good things and bad things. It's like you get to see the good side and the dark side of so much. It shouldn't be too hard. That there probably is already a roll-in phase. Probably.
Knights.
Probably.
No more knights on the street, only dubstep, 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪
War
dubstep.
economy.
The sound of capitalism and soulless consumerism is what makes up the 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪s of today. Man has forgotten true struggle, as well as those who require it to survive. The last knight left in this country had
I feel like slaying the ocean.
abandoned the nation in an attempt to slay the ocean.
But he's from 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪. The IS3 knight. So far this trip, which country do you want to live in? They're all horrible, aren't they? And worse if you're infected. Honestly, Yan seems really nice out of the countries we've seen so far, but I think I would go to 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪 just so I wouldn't be broke. You have to be Jessica's Discord kitten. Yeah, exactly. If Jessica watches VTubers, then super chats from Jessica or something. But still being capable of getting 100k LMD a week. We're not addicted to gambling, it's called dedication. Yeah, this is a hobby. Just can't a shut-in have a hobby? Kazi is the only country with knights. Wait, so isn't Viviana from Kazimierz or Lithuanian? He's the last one who doesn't kneel to the KGCC and now hates the sea. I wonder if he's still alive. I know in some like IS endings he's like RIP. Jessica's now self-providing, no more family money. Arknights donkey. Drawing a fan art. If anyone draws fan art, please post it and tag me. I'd love to see it. If you're transported to Terra, would you have animal characteristics? Like people there or humans? If it's like boring human, you want to be a 𝗏𝗏𝙪 or Sancta. Are there plant people in Arknights? Is that a thing? I have a feeling that the isekai plot would force me to be a plant person.
I think he went crazy
Whatever
after
that's called.
all that happened. But what about the good old tradition? What about being a noble knight and fighting for justice? Would the good people of Kazimierz really forget about all the heroism and chivalry?
Crushing a
Would
loaf.
they forget about...
Or it does look like a certain operator. Which one? Do you mean Palace? Elf is the closest. What is Palace? And why does Palace have a flower? He's still alive fighting? He's only died in some IS3 endings. Isn't it like the second ending? I'm just realizing, is he a teapot? Yeah, this YouTuber, plus minus, is the teapot trinket. The water cuddle from IS stages. Where it kind of looks a bit like a, no, I kind of see it. Yeah, there's a cow-looking girl with a rose on her head. I think that's Palace, who you're thinking of. In Colombia, there's casual racism, but in Kazimierz, it's ranked. Oof. Palace is my long-lost twin. Imagine if someone got a Palace VTuber model, and I did a reunite stream.
about all the sacrifices the knights have committed to protect this land? Of course not, because knight sport is the best way to show the world that Kazimierz is indeed still the nation of knights. Introducing the Major.
PvP.
It is the biggest sport event on Terra, held every 3 years in the capital of Kazimierz. See it as a tournament arc where participants are organized into teams referred to as knight clubs. Successful clubs can be promoted to knight orders.
Highness Sylvester's mentioned. If I were infected, I go to Kazimierz. You hope for the hardest battles. Good luck out there, Aiden. Good luck out there. I have a feeling like all the places are horrible and like treat you. It's rough. It's rough. But maybe I could make some money and just survive.
But must maintain their performance.
Are you gonna debut?
To avoid demotion.
Oh, I'd love to debut a new model in the future. I'm saving for like a little bit of a PC upgrade. I think I'm just missing some CPU. But I did manage to get a new PC recently. And someday you'll see a new model, so don't worry.
It is simple. Just keep on winning and you will never be forgotten.
Yeah, just keep winning. But yes, I'm saving for upgrades.
Independent knights can also compete, but are generally at a disadvantage compared to knights from well-funded clubs.
Independent knights.
High-performing knights in the major may earn titles and get sponsorships from all sorts of established brands.
Is 𝗔𝗟𝗪 also an independent knight? Just a win 4 head. Just a win 5 head.
And prestigious titles,
I feel
such
like
as
I heard
the Blood
𝗔𝗟𝗪 was a knight or
the Black
something.
Knight, or the Radiant
Oh,
Knight.
and Takeno.
Like I said before, this tournament is the personification
Oh, 𝗔𝗟𝗪. From Yan. Look at the secret group of 4 people that we don't even know what they do. Would want to see Knights Duel to be an official sport. Is that like a real thing? Or just an Arknights? If you made it to Rhodes, you'll be pampered and given lots of treats and headpads. That's a huge if. If I make it to Rhodes, life is easy. Or easier. It'll be fine. We went from potato PC to new potato PC. This one's just enough to not lag when I stream, which is nice. There are real life night fights, really. Dagon Brescia, my love. Aw. Don't know who it is. Oh, the shoe banner. The other 6-star. And the non-limited shoe 6-star.
of knighthood, the
There's
peak
dueling,
of Casimir's,
oh, but in certain
the best
areas.
thing they can offer. Every time a major event is held,
Is it like gory or like just for sport? Maybe I'll look up what this is sometime. There are real night battles. Oh, but they're pretty safe. They'll never be as strongly commercialized.
the capital would dock with 3 other nomadic
I'll
cities
have to look these up
nearby to
eventually.
get more visitors and to make the major event even more unforgettable. Because in the recent decades, the major has become one of the most anticipated sports events for people from all across Terra. It simply cannot be ruined by infected people on the streets, which is why they are forced to be relocated into dark city alleys where foreign visitors wouldn't spot them, where the infected would be set out into harsh environment and starve. They would get so hungry they'd eat a
They'd get so hungry they'd eat a what? It's like UFC but with shiny horses. It's not the entire
The
group
major
just
is the
strolling
flagship of the
through.
Casimir's
They all just rolled up for real.
economy. They bring in big investment, huge profit from merchandise, cosplay costumes, and a ton of revenue from advertisements. Knights are
Not the ad deals. It's crazy how they treat infected really badly unless they can make money from them. Basha got the Toji puff. For real.
celebrated
For real.
like superstars. They obtain more money and fame than any knights from the previous era, and that is what Casimir's is all about. Congratulations, Casimir! You went from chivalry to capitalism. Instead of raising the sword as a shield, they raised the sword for entertainment and profit. Maybe justice never existed in the first place. Well, that's enough for the nation of knights and capitalism.
Blue Archive cameo. But where was the Blue Archive cameo? I was struggling against those knights until I remembered we still existed. Just imagine playing Arknights before we should all. I'm not even that old of a player, but like, hey, I played for a few months before we should all dropped. I saw Night UFC existing actually. Someone send me a link to IRL Night UFC so I can look it up afterward. Oh, it's a LARPer LARPing. Oh, like role playing. The Neural family was one of the ancient knights. That's why Minar is so disgusted with life. I wonder if Minar once... I know some of his voice lines mention the old days. Does he want, like, the stonks people to leave? I don't have to imagine. I refuse to use mine. I remember the times when 𝗏𝗏𝙪 was the most broken up. Yeah, when I first started Arknights, Chow would tell me to bring 𝗏𝗏𝙪 on, like, every support stage. Every stage that I could. 𝗏𝗏𝙪 and, like, 𝗏𝗏𝙪.
Let's take a visit to a nation that is still deep-rooted with classical culture and studies into its own past.
Is this
Welcome to
Lithuanian?
Lithuanian, the land of arts
Lithuanian.
and music. Lithuanian is a superpower in the Terran heartland. Most of its inhabitants are classical music-loving Capricorns. The nation is ruled by a rigid governing
Goat country. He grew up with the ideas of ancient knights and doesn't like those knightly contests. He forbade them to the sisters. Historical European martial arts clubs exist. It's with weapons, because weapons aren't illegal. I have to look all of this up. It sounds really interesting to hear, like, what Arknights might have been inspired by. Yeah, Germany. It sounds like the VA for the Lithuanian school intro. It refers to modern knights as a charade. He seems disgusted. A lot of it's frustration with himself. Minar seems like such a deep character. Like, so many layers.
system of different Kreise with 2 empresses as their acting leaders. This is the nation with an aggressive sounding tongue and the longest swear word on Terra.
Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaftskapitänswitwenversorgungskassen Mitarbeiter.
What does this mean? If any German viewers out there, send help. I need to know. Also ID. Most of ancient races are racist, really. German insult. Someone was offended listening to this. Someone who speaks German was offended.
They aren't by any means aggressive. They have the finest music concerts and historically longest study into the field of arts. In fact, their past ruler was once titled the most talented arts user on Terra. But please refrain from spelling his name or title. Don't ever do that, it brings bad luck.
Really? Is he like, it's like, there's a Shakespeare play that you're not supposed to say. Palace used a flail. Are there operators that use flails as their weapons? Is it just Palace? The Voldemort. Voldemort villain. Literally just Voldemort. Either it's actually German, or it means I'm going to eat your Christmas tree and stuff your turkey in your closet. But why would a curse mean that specifically? That's so specific. RNA True uses a flail type of thing. Also, it's plus minus in chat. It applies, so we're experiencing terror with you. Thanks for letting us react to this. Interesting. I can't think of others other than RNA who use like a flail.
Lithuanian is also known for preserving and innovating classical music. And by innovating, I'm not talking about new orchestra pieces to enjoy. Well, they do that too, but I think
with this like gameplay in the background and the music, it doesn't look like enemies. This is just a concert.
Once I show it to you. This is how a battle with Ursa's army looks like. This is how a battle with Casimir's knights looks like. And this is how a battle with Lithuanian army looks like. Careful of music on the battlefield, especially when you're...
They seem so sophisticated. It's like if you fight a Lithuanian, you'll feel posh the whole time. Like they'll insult you, but you'll kind of feel good about it. That's cool. Enjoy it. Absolutely. Yeah, so far it's incredible. Again, everyone, go like and subscribe. Watch Plus Minus's videos. He's so funny. Yeah, we go musical spellcast. Just a bard magic. It's basically bard country. There's an operator from the country who is a musician. Are there a few? There's Journey, there's Baseline, there's Vivi, or not Vivi, Virtuosa. Imagine singing and killing someone. And like, how would you discover that superpower if you start singing and like people just die? Oh, is Eppin a magician? Or he's obviously a magician, or not magician, musician. I feel like since I don't see Eppin with like instruments, I forget that he plays. So.
Do you hear what I'm talking about?
Vicious mockery animation.
The battlefield into a bloodbath. Lithuanian turns the battlefield into an orchestra. Lithuanian arts is unique because centuries ago they combined sound with art, and today they have mastered it, turning... No, Mom, I made a new song. And then you discover your like song abilities kill people. That's the worst way. That's the worst way. If by voice... Oh, Banshee, true. Yeah, the Banshees, I guess, are also like musician fighters. A rap battle. There would be crazy. Imagine Banshees versus Lithuanians. I would win. Music into weapons. And you know what the best thing is? They are one of the few nations that don't discriminate against the infected, allegedly. They treat them like brothers and
allegedly.
Sisters. They only discriminate against those who can't use arts. Infected people are sent into special facilities for a... Croida. Not Croida mentioned. Artillery by orchestra. You know, killing and singing. It sounds like Epic the Musical. People have told me to watch the Epic the Musical animatics, and I really want to. I think I'll react to them next week. They won't be fighting anymore. It'll become a concert. I feel like it's like those shows where it looks like people are in danger, but not really. There's the operator. Oh, the one with black. Yeah, Eben. Yeah, Eben. Thanks, Voco. Someone should compose a playlist for you. They should, please. They don't want muggles. Oh yeah, they're just like, they just hate people who don't enjoy magic. I caused Rachmaninoff piano concert in C# minor. Empathy treatment. Well, the only drawback is that we don't get to see their infected family members once they are sent there, but knowing that they are being treated is good enough, right? Don't ask where... This angst. This... Little did the Lithuanian know that Tegan is physical magic. Lithuanian dislikes the musically tone deaf. Yeah, if you can't keep a beat, it's over. You're cooked in this country. Time to leave. Where the infected went, I'm sure they are all living peacefully in their facilities and getting treated. I mean, what would a nation with the highest knowledge about arts do
Athena.
to those poor infected anyway?
I'm sure they're
Doing
fine.
research on them? Using them as arts amplifier? Come on, we are not talking about Colombia. Anyhow, as one of the culturally richest nations on the Terran heartland comes with some unique attractions that we simply cannot miss out on.
This country has Italy versions of music instead of food. Are you gonna watch Along Epic? I want to. I think I'll do it next week. You don't enjoy arts? Taste this. Plays a song into their head. I see. I think someone said, we still fight like Harry Potter, but with violins. Basically.
𝗔𝗟𝗪𝙧𝙬𝙪,
And instead of violins, they use violins.
capital of Lithanian, a cultural heritage that is the Altstadt on this nomadic platform with their annual musical festival celebrating its liberal mindset and harmonious prosperity.
The music is
It's
so
a blessing
pretty.
for the eyes and ears. Wiesheim, a town famous for its music education and manufacturing of instruments. Everyone loves music in this town. In its center lies the Afterglow Hall, one of the
And nothing suspicious here at all. Violins. Yes, more thanks to the infinite list. I'm pretty sure Epic was one of the first stream recommendations someone gave me.
most infamous places where music
I wasn't sure if it was too copyrighted. I think I can react though.
and orchestras are performed. This place used to be the arts amplifier of Terra's most powerful caster. And yes, I did say this place. He turned this entire building into his magical wand after all. Rumors even say that he turned the entire town in his arts medium. Now, what exactly did he use the arts medium for? That's a great question. We will get into that in a bit. But before that, let's have a history lesson about Lithanian, how it became what it is now, to be more precise, the true story of the strongest caster on Terra. Here is Lithanian in the year of 969. Everything
969. Nice. I can only play one piano song. I memorized. I would be cooked. I think unironically, if I appeared here, like in my isekai, I feel like I'd be fine. I can play piano, a guitar, mandolin, a ukulele, bass guitar. I can play lots of instruments. The strongest caster in history versus the strongest caster of today. Nah, I'd win.
is as is. The nation is ruled by different Kreise. Kreise are the equivalent of states. Each Kreis has their own way of governing their subjects, but all Kreise are bound by the 𝗏𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪, an art contract. Imagine a magical contract that makes the Kreise and their Kurfürsten physically and mentally impossible.
This art is so pretty, but like a musical contract. You forgot the chord E minor or something. One note can summon a generation. I've seen a few of those videos where people just play like one note and everyone knows what the song is.
To divide into sovereign nations. Other states can join the 𝗏𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪, and their state's name would be written on the arts contract. Small reminder, joining the Kreise is easy, but leaving is virtually impossible, simply
Okay, so all I need to do is sign an arts contract with these musicians and never leave. I'll be set in Arknights forever. The gods of classical music. Yes. Which king proceed to play Russia? The creator of Epic says anyone can react up. Welcome to the parade.
because of the complexity of the arts contract. And this is how Lithanian acts as a single nation. The nation itself is united under a strong arts contract. Every few years, the Kurfürsten of every Kreis would come together.
They all
and
have
work for
names. Hans, Friedrich, Dieter, Gustav. They have real names. Yeah, basically a sorcerer with a contract, I think.
one noble ruler worthy to take up the role of the acting emperor. They shall govern the nation and make all the Kreise prosper. In actuality, it is still the Kreise and their nobles who held the real power, because they can keep the emperor's influence if they want to. In a way, the nation is officially united, but doesn't quite act like a united nation.
You're so right. In other words, it's like the idol industry. It's just like idols, idol groups, or VTubers. They're just signing contracts to play music or entertain people, kind of. It seems a lot more complicated, but I like to imagine this is just the idol country. Pull up an image of the puppet.
For example, each Kreis has their own military that only acts under the order of their own Kurfürst. Of course, if the entire nation is at war, then the emperor would request the unification of the forces of all armies, but even then, the head of the Kreise still has control over their own army. I know it is confusing, but that's just a fraction of Lithanian's old and rigid bureaucracy. This is Otto Dietmar Gustav von Urtica.
It's Otto. Why are all the villains in gacha games named Otto? 𝙏𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪 Impact, Arknights, maybe some others. Just read their names like Vaughn, Mark of Nobility, name, territory name. It seems like the country is it's like a lot of mini countries, like all these segments that work together.
He was a young and good lad, extremely gifted in music and arts. Dude was practically listening to the Bible in Viennese on the right ear and listening to all 600 classical Lithanian music pieces at 2 times the speed on the left ear.
What a mood. I don't know if this is a genius or like an insane person. He's based though. I'm like the simp Otto and HI3. I feel like, okay, if someone simped for me like as much as Otto did and HI3, I'd be flattered. Like changing history just to be sure your crush stays alive a little longer. That's kind of crazy. Why not both? You're so right. It's not right, but it's good enough. They're not Germany. Oh, but Austria, Holy Roman Empire, really?
And he mastered all these music pieces in the span of 3 months.
Austria
A prodigy child who also had the chance to get taught by the Castilian Lord of Liches. This is definitely gonna turn
Is this
into a
Vermont? Is this like past Vermont?
great relationship. However, Otto wasn't satisfied by all the knowledge he had gained. He looked way further into the future with an even bigger ambition than all of his peers. Every other nation was
mix of both
progressing
nations.
relentlessly, while Lithanian was still holding on to its same old music.
I'm sorry, the drums. The drums feel so random. I know they're in like lots of orchestras. Meanwhile, Plant just stuck with us. You recall Austria had a failed artist. But yeah, it seems like lots of like countries and Arknights are mixes of IRL influences. It's interesting to see like which ones were used.
Arts from centuries ago, and let's not forget its complicated political system that mixed
This little, I think this is a fox with their head down. That's one of the cutest sprites I've seen. Country is more inspired by all Germanic peoples.
changes hard to begin with. The 𝙏𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪 turned out to be a hindrance. Syracusa, one of the Kreise, has been voicing out its independence for decades, but the arts contract wouldn't let it happen, which turned into countless civil unrest inside Syracusa.
Why are they throwing me down? Yeah, the mafia dude. Also, how short is Otto? I noticed earlier, but especially here, Otto seems tiny in these flashbacks. Dog Ock, real name Otto. Exactly, all these Otto villains out there.
What is going to happen to Lithania in the next 20 or 30 years? Victoria has their steam knights, Iberia has made a pact with an advanced ocean civilization, and Ursus was becoming the new military powerhouse simply with their sheer brute force.
They're Italian.
Lithanian is
I think there's a separate Italy. Isn't Syracusa like Italy and Arknights? But imagine, you threw a pizza because Syracuse is next to Lithania. Backstory, when he was still just a boy. Okay, that makes more sense. Just a kid. This baby Otto, I'm sure he'll never grow up to hurt anybody or be creepy.
still too stubborn to progress and can't handle its inner conflicts. Otto was already
Syracuse was part of Lithania,
and with the unknown future of his beloved nation, he vowed to become the greatest ruler ever, once he gets his chance to sit on the throne. Ob du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst?
The glow up's crazy. Also, is Plush speaking German?
Ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen
That's
Jahren
so
für dich
impressive.
eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab? Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
I don't speak German, but that sounded really good. Syracuse is Italy with all the families and problems. Yeah, Syracuse has lots of drama.
And thus he was chosen by the Kreise. First, he revamped the old rigid system. The Kreise and their
I'll take
Kurfürsten
things from
gradually lost
here.
their political influence, while he
What
centralized
an
power
icon.
for himself. Now, any normal person would look at this and criticize his abuse of power, especially the Kreise and their Kurfürsten, but not with Otto's regime. Not only did he say goodbye to the old system, he also brought to the common folk a prosperity they have never seen before, all thanks to his Majesty's wisdom and knowledge. Soon enough, he earned himself the title
The shades are everything. See, it makes sense. Oh, you're German. You're Lithuanian. I feel like I know a lot of Arknights players from Germany.
Herkunftshorn, the Horn of Genesis. But the most astonishing feat
Horn of
was him ending
Genesis.
the political unrest of the Kreis 𝗔𝗟𝙪. Herkunftshorn single-handedly managed to override the 𝗏𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙜𝙪 and removed the name 𝗔𝗟𝗪 from the contract, officially declaring the 𝗔𝗟𝗪 as an independent nation.
Oh, you
Something no
separated
one
the
believed to
two.
be possible. And for the next decades, he went on ruling over Lithuanian. Everyone celebrated.
It's interesting. Like, instead of growing the empire and making it bigger, like, you kind of made it smaller. You let people leave. That feels kind of counterintuitive.
The rise of Herkunftshorn, and
I
he
didn't
would
know
go into
this.
history as the greatest ruler of Lithuanian. If it were not for the atrocities he had committed in the coming decades. Remember the Kreise and their Kurfürsten? They actually hated him. I know, right? Shocker. They lost their army, their influence,
He was from
and their
Italy.
tradition. So to
He was Syracuse. Someone should make a map of all the Arknights creators and like their Arknights nationalities. I would love to see that actually. But did you suddenly speak German? Oh, because this is a German character, and it was such a good dialogue, such a good
destroy
monologue.
the glory of the good old Lithuanian custom, they tried to stir civil unrest. Basically, they disobeyed Herkunftshorn's order and were punished accordingly. The punishment for dissidents was cruel. Herkunftshorn's leadership got worse from that point onwards. To expose and punish the opposing Kurfürsten, he enacted a group of loyalists who served as his personal secret police all over.
Hey, it's hard to take this seriously. When I remember, this is just an orchestra. It's like, so how did you die? Death by orchestra. The orchestra police, the music police came to get me. I know it's like sad and serious, but that's so funny to me.
Lithuanian. At the same time, a dedicated group
Oh yeah, there are lots of SEA Arknights creators too. Yeah, Tyranny. This would be a SEA from like English speaking communities. I know some from like SEA from Australia, there are lots from like Great Britain and Europe too. You haven't heard of Overture by Tchaikovsky.
group of cult-like loyalists was gradually formed around him. They were drawn to His Majesty's madness like a moth drawn by a candle. Normal citizens could only see his cruel actions,
He's so
and he was
tall.
eventually coined a new title, the Witch King. Where the Witch
The
King
Witch
was
King,
really killing
huh?
off his political opponents, he became a professional hikikomori, not because he became awkward around people.
Our next hikikomori. First it was dusk, and now we have the Witch King. I can confirm. Hey, there's a huge community in Indo. A lot of viewers are from like Indo or the Philippines. But you have no idea what they say. There are lots of like Indo Arknight streamers too that I've like seen around.
It was because he was too invested in his arts research. It was like an obsession, as if he was close to finding the truth behind this world. One night, he took a large dose of extra-dimensional substance to gain knowledge.
Extra-dimensional
He
substance. Otto, are you good? You were Indo? Indo is the fourth most populated country. It's always really high on my like analytics list. There are so many people from Indo who stop by. So if you're from Indo, hello, and I a huge shout out to the Indo friends.
Ascended into a realm outside of reality and saw things that he would call the truth. the Witch King returned as a different person.
Bro was flying.
He yaps about willing to do whatever it takes to prevent the looming end of this world by killing
Do you think he learned about like the Doctor or like Originium or something? I have to read more of his story. Have a nice lunch, John. Otto became too based for the physical world. Yeah, Otto was transcending even our standards of aura.
the creator personally? He became much more secretive about his research and a lot
Trying to summon
crueler.
higher dimension just to fight it. Imagine sleeping with horns like that. Sleeping positions must be so rough. If you can't sleep on your side. Collapsals. Oh, collapsals. Oh, you're from New Zealand. There are lots of Aussie beavers who stop by too. The truth behind the false sky is much worse than everything in Terra. I've heard chapter 15 has some things that
When
happen.
it comes to dealing with dissidents. The
Oh,
treatment
Vivi's
for the
horns.
infected
Vivi's
got-
horns. Vivi's horns. Like, imagine showering. Imagine getting into a car. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it with Vivi's horns.
Worse, while treatment facilities have practically turned into his research facilities, the Witch King started doing countless arts and Originium related research. To keep up with his demand, his loyal followers delivered him infected citizens to experiment on. If you got infected during the reign of the Witch King, you have automatically become His Majesty's arts amplifier.
The arts of...
Popula-
What did I say? The arts of torsion. Testicular torsion. Hey, woman being up. Imagine going through a door and just getting stuck. Imagine Otto's villain arc. It's not because he saw some higher being. It's because he got stuck in a door with his horns and decided to rule the world. Congrats, you're now a battery.
arts amplifier.
Imagine putting on a
Population of
shirt.
an entire-
Hey, if it's not like a buttoned-up shirt, or like anything but a slip-on, like you're cooked. I mute you. Yeah, your horns wouldn't let you put your head in. A skirt, literally anything. You would just stick your head through. You'd freak out too if you knew it was outside the sky. Is chapter 15 about to make us go crazy?
Our town was found dead simply as a result of his art experiment. He also openly executed his political opponent by turning them into statues. The fear forever petrified to remind the common folk and his political opponent who the real boss was. The Witch King also spread his influence outside of Lithanian by following the colonialism trend of other superpowers such as Victoria. The Witch King took over control of Bolivar by establishing a puppet regime that followed his orders.
Was this before or after Iberia took over Bolivar? Cutie little steering wheel, I think so too. Yeah, I'll photosynthesize, don't worry. I mean, I'll sleep. I'm not a plant. I swear. I swear.
Soon enough, the Gaulish Empire, the most powerful and influential nation,
This is what happened to France. It's because the Witch King invaded. I didn't know that's what started it. It's after Iberia left. I see.
in the Terran heartland during that period proposed to turn Lithania into their
You shall
vassal
work
state.
under
Trust me,
us.
they asked the Witch King very nicely and were definitely
You asked nicely, and then get curb stomps because the French invade. And Gaul, why did you do this? Just crush Loaf on your own, away from the Witch King, who's crazy. French went around. They went around and found out.
not full of themselves. It was the worst time to send out such a bold message, but the Witch King did not turn the envoys down. He turned them into statues and sent them back to Gaul, officially declaring
And
a
shipped
war.
the statues
This
back.
war will go into history as the Gallo-Lithanian War. At the beginning of the war, Lithanian took massive L's from Gaul. Not only did the Gaulish army breach deeply into Lithanians,
This is the thing. I don't know much about Gaul. Like, all the other countries have their defining thing, like witch power and music, or capitalism, or the Sui siblings, or like military. What was Gaul's thing? Except being French. Based a Witch King. Very politely. Yeah, totally. Bolivar either invades or destroys it as a super realistic Latin American country. Don't worry. Yeah, rip Gaul. Rip Gaul.
soil, they also
It
took
seems like everyone just decided to gang up on Gaul.
over 4 Kreise in the span of 4 months. However, all of this was simply because the Witch King did not participate in the war personally. He did show up eventually by greeting the Gaulish army with his artificially created catastrophe, which single-handedly
He made a
wiped out the
catastrophe?
entire warship fleet. And now you know
He can make catastrophes. This man, this Otto, he's on another level at this point. He's aura farming for some higher dimension.
what the Witch King used Wiedsheim's Afterglow Hall for.
A
It was
city
a
got
weapon of
deleted.
mass destruction. It brought such destructive power that Gaulish generals had to revisit their strategy, and as if that wasn't bad enough, Victoria and Ursus decided to join the war.
Yeah, everyone's just ganging up on Gaul. Also, Paradigm. VPN makes the stream so laggy. Rip VPN, LVPN. I'll see you in the VOD. Deleted a city, but still normal, so no worry. Countries speak the languages of their real-life counterparts, but most communicate in English. I always thought it was interesting how even I did download the CN build of Arknights, but I haven't played it very much. Like, so much of the CN game still has English, like PRTS speaks in English, mission completed, and they're like English words too. I thought it was interesting why Gaul became too arrogant. Have a nice sleep, Elfie.
While they were at the bottom and
This is just a French-hating party at this
All
point.
3 superpowers bullied Gaul into extinction. Victoria and Ursus took the most spoil out of the war, leaving Lysanian in ruin. Since the war mostly took place on Lysanian soil, and when peace was restored, the Witch King returned to his cruel tyranny and shut himself away inside his spire. At this point,
Back to
the people in
Hikikomori.
Lysanian had enough of his reign. The Kurfürsten revolted against the Witch King. With the help of their carefully crafted secret weapon, whom even the Witch King had no idea about, these 2 brave waifu materials breached through the defenses of the Witch King and at last managed to slay him. The fateful day will forever be marked as the liberation of Lysanian and celebrated.
They couldn't have done this sooner. You had this secret weapon the whole time. You could have dealt with Otto so much earlier.
As
It sounds like Lithuania was devastated because a lot of the war happened in Lithuania.
September Aufstand. The 2 who slayed their majesty have become the new official rulers and are known as the Twin Empresses. The Witch King's spire was torn apart. From its remnants, a twin tower was built, and the capital was renamed after it, 𝗔𝗟𝙪. And that is how the
That's why the event is 𝗔𝗟𝙪. It's because the capital's name. They polished their horns so they wouldn't grow. I don't know what makes horns grow long or shorter. The secret weapon was the twins. Oh, they hadn't grown up yet. When you said catastrophe, it reminded you of ores. It was gonna invent planes.
tale of the Witch King
Are there
ended
even
and how
planes in
Lysanians
Arknights?
stepped into the modern age.
It's weird because I feel like no one flies anywhere except space. Like, they literally invented spaceships before airplanes. Unless I'm missing something. The twin is the anti-Witch King. Oh, specifically, the king still lives? I have to read my Lithuania lore. The king's alive. Columbia has planes. Oh, you're so right, because Saria and Francis were in a plane. They
have
flew to that
another look
building.
at the
Now that you mention it, no one flies. That's crazy.
Lysanian of today. Now that we
Except
have
maybe
visited its
Colombia
past,
sometimes.
the twin empresses have re-established the influence and bureaucratic system of the Kreise and their Kurfürsten. The infected are being sent to treatment facilities and usually never seen again. Congratulations, Lysanian. After 100 years, we have come full circle. Absolutely fantastic and most praiseworthy.
Back to the same
Nowadays,
beginning.
it is forbidden to refer to
Just 100 years, all this work to get right back where you started. You can increase horn link with an evil potion. Yeah, it's not a scam. You can get bigger horns. I mean, they all live in the same continent. Right? But it's a really big one. There's no way everyone's walking everywhere unless you're the Dungeon Meshi group.
the previous ruler as the Witch King, and the name is simply a taboo. Only artworks and stage plays that depict His Majesty's downfall and demonizes him are allowed to be published, while the new ruling empresses are doing their best to restore Lysanian to its former glory. And remember when I talked about the cult-like people who gathered around the Witch King?
The cult's still
the
here.
The remaining loyalists of the Witch King were left.
Isn't this the cult that like took in Eben and Kryda? They already have flying mobile suit. That's called Steam Knight. True. If your horns feel pain, go see a doctor. Oh, I see. Ground vehicles are just much more fuel efficient. Some random gators in Sargon can blast you out of the sky. What can a real military armed force do? I guess that's true. There are some flyers.
Left with one motivation to keep them going: the revival of their beloved leader and restoration of his reign, for he is and will always be the true ruler of Lysanian. Some people will forever live in the fear of the past, while others strive to create the past glory by studying into the forbidden arts of their previous ruler, resulting in further meaningless suffering on the innocent. And
the Kryda angst hurts so much. Terra's twice the size of Earth. You wouldn't believe how inefficient jet fuel is. Is the only reason people fly just to save time? Or because there's like an ocean? Is that the only reason?
This is how Lysanian, despite its advanced knowledge in arts,
or to have fun,
music,
I guess,
and liberal education system, is still being haunted by its past shadow. Remember the 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪? The one that was
also the Billy screenshot
by the Witch King and then became an independent nation? That is our next stop.
Okay, and with this.
What a...
I think we'll split this into 2 parts. This is a huge video. You should go watch and like this video for yourself. So, plus minus will make a part 2. I think part 2 is coming at 2,000 likes. And it's up to 1.6k. So, the link's in the description and also pinned in chat. Go watch this video. And we'll watch the rest of it next week. 45 minutes in, they still haven't talked about Terra's MVPs. The 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪. That's the thing with 𝗏𝗏𝙪𝙧𝙬𝙪 though. They don't have a country. It's just them. It's just them. They're homeless. Yeah. Thanks again for making this. This is such a like in-depth video. I'm so impressed. I've learned so much. Maybe they thought there's no point in flying. If there's a fake sky, maybe. Terra's like Mars. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed our road trip together through our isekai to Arknights. Enjoy your snacks, and I'll see you all next time. Are we gonna talk now? Sure. Join the Discord, and we can talk there. Bye, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and more streams soon. Bye-bye.